say good evening or good morning or
Yay.
good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Because it's international now. So this is
Yeah.
Spurs TV. And so I've got Carl with me again and Ellie. So how are you doing, guys?
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah.
You okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You? I think I'll start with Ellie because, her boy scored yesterday. So,
I know. Come on.
so what do you think of Højbjerg's performance yesterday?
Yeah, he's brilliant. He made one mistake, but you forgive him because he makes the mistake that he makes up for other things he does in the game. Yeah, but they nearly scored, but their players are rubbish in front of goal. We know this, so I just knew he was going to miss regardless. But he scored a goal. What a worldie! A little bit of a deflection off Iwobi, so a bit of Arsenal came into play there. Yeah, but I thought he played really, really well. And with Bentancur linked up when Basuma came on, that was the icing on the cake, wasn't it?
Did you think, like with Højbjerg, because I know in the first half, I don't know if you saw Twitter, right? But they were like ripping into him for the mistakes.
I don't know.
And then like, but like for me
I
with
fall down on the floor.
With Højbjerg, do you think people are expecting him to be this like flashy player, and because he's just doing the dirty work, he's just not getting praised for it?
Do you know what? He does more than the dirty work, right? Because if you watch him closely, he's a very good communicator. He directs our play. He tells players to get into position. And also, he's very good progressively as well. As soon as Basuma came on, do you see how he flew forward a lot of the time? And he just links up work play. He keeps it simple. If he needs to pay a through pass, he's got that in his locker. He's got good vision, and he can pick out a pass. But people don't remember that bit. They just remember the time when he lost the ball. And they'll slate him for it, Oh, I don't know. You can't win with some fans, can you? Don't worry. In my section, I've got them all going. They're all Højbjerg fans now.
I was like, because he scored, I thought
I'm his PR lady.
Yeah. His agent, probably.
Like... They actually liked him in my section in 252 in the South Stand. That's where they stand. Yeah, they did like him. I didn't have to really work on them. But in 256, I had to.
So, Carl, coming from someone like me, I felt the last 10 minutes, once we got the second goal, I was the most relaxed I probably felt all season. So, what did you think was the major change with us yesterday compared to before? Was it the 3-5-2 and Basuma coming in for Richarlison, which was kind of an enforced change because Richarlison had come off? Do you think that was the difference?
I think other games? Yeah, I mean, once I think Richarlison came off and they went to the 3-5-2. I mean, look, listen, they didn't have nothing to beat yesterday, did they? Because only one team came to try and win a game of football, didn't they? Everton, like we knew they would be. Everton are a pretty poor side who, to be honest, are not going to give the top teams much of a battle. But we looked more comfortable in the 3-5-2, didn't we? With that extra man in midfield. And at that point, the game, Everton had run their race and the game was kind of, won at that point. And the second goal kind of made it, comfortable in the end. But we looked a little bit more comfortable. We were more solid on the ball. Basuma comes on and he obviously sits there and picks the ball up off the centre halves and knocks it around. You got him and Bentancur just sitting, and then Højbjerg is allowed to push on a little bit more at that point, isn't he? And get forward, as we saw when he scored his goal. He was right up there with the attack and took it well, because I thought he was going to try and lay Son in at one point, who was steaming up the outside, but he used his run well to then come back in and shoot. So he kind of used Son's run really well there. And obviously it's a nice finish and the game's comfortable. And at that point, Everton were done. We could have probably been playing with just two at the back. They weren't going to cause us any problem. The game might be different. Yeah, if they'd taken their chances in the first half, then the game might have been different.
They had that one big chance, didn't they?
Back in.
Yeah, they had that one big chance, ball over the top. I can't remember who it was.
Well, they had the two, didn't they? The guy comes steaming through when out-muscled Bentancur and then blew it over. Gray, I think it was.
That was Gray, yeah.
We had the one where, the two guys make the mistake and head the ball through for the guy to run onto, and he steams it over the bar. Yeah. Maybe if they take one of those chances and go one up, the games more difficult because they then just fully, I mean, they were camping in anyway. So if they'd got one up, they wouldn't have moved away from the edge of their penalty area, would they? But we have to say it was a professional job done yesterday, wasn't it? Because it was always going to be a tough game. You know, we don't play the most exciting brand of football in the world, but we get the job done. And we can't argue, can we? Clean sheet, 3 points, keeps our run going, keeps us up there at the moment.
What I noticed in the 3-5-2 with Bentancur, there was almost times when he was playing on the right across Kane and Son. I felt like, and like it kind of gave him more of a license to bomb forwards compared to normal. But do you think like in a 3-5-2, Bentancur can be just a better player in terms of just instead of him doing every single job? Because obviously there's two of them, and if they play against the three, they're doing twice the work. Like I felt Bentancur had more freedom in that formation.
Well, I think once you bring that extra midfielder on, you should be able to find each one of them should be able to find a little bit more space, shouldn't they? Because they're not being overrun when there's just the two of them in there. I think we started looking like we were targeting the right-hand side towards the end of the game because they were having some success down that side. He's just a class player, isn't he, Bentancur? You know, there's nothing. He's not a De Bruyne. But the guy just doesn't give the ball away. You know, it's just he's all over the place, just ticking the ball over, just moving it to the right players at the right time. He's a calm head on the ball. You know, even when if a ball's bouncing up, he's got the right technique to be able just to lay a nice pass off to someone. He's just ultimately ticking that midfield over and keeping the ball moving. And you need that in the side, you know, and him and Højbjerg are forming a decent partnership in there, which tells you why Bissouma hasn't been able to get in at the moment.
I agree.
So Ellie, did you think that with Bissouma? Because I thought that was his best game for us so far.
Definitely.
What was the difference, say, yesterday compared to his previous performances?
Well, the one he played against Leicester was very similar. So he's finding his feet. He's listening to Conte. He's getting with the plan. Because Conte's got a set way of playing, right? And he wants his players to carry out what he's told them to do, right? You could see evidently against Arsenal, we didn't carry out his plan and he was very cross. He didn't even go into the dressing. He traditionally doesn't go in the dressing room, but he was probably spitting fire on the way out of the Emirates, you know? But with coming back to Bissouma, I think he's great gaining in confidence because first of all, he wants to impress. Second, he wants to get a full-time place in that 3-5-2. If he can impress Conte enough, because Conte was asked about it in the after press conference, right? And he said, he sort of gave a wry smile, like to say maybe he will go that way. But I personally think he won't. But he might even play Bissouma instead of Højbjerg or Bissouma instead of Bentancur, you know, because I think he'll switch it up a bit, but I personally want him to play the 3-5-2 because we're much more effective. And it, like you said, it allows Bentancur free rein, right? He can drift because he knows Højbjerg and Bissouma will hold for him. And then when Højbjerg goes forward, I'm confident that Bissouma and Bentancur can do a job by holding on. But put it this way, they weren't much competition. So we haven't seen what they can do against better opposition, you see. So that's the proof of the pudding when we come up against the tougher teams.
So Ellie, do you think he'll play a 3-5-2 on Wednesday then or not?
I hope so. I really do hope so.
Because now, though, does he, with Richarlison out?
I mean, could put
Richarlison, I don't think will recover in time for that game.
That's
so
half injury.
With him and Kulu out, that kind of nullifies your options in that to have that front three, doesn't he? So I don't think he'll have a choice.
He will.
I think that injury will force him into that 3-5-2 for one game at least, and then we'll see how it works because we know what we're like, don't we? You know, when United are a team where we should go and put a marker down at their place. But we know, obviously, a lot of the times in those games when we need to put a marker down, we need to make sure we show up and don't blow our lines, don't we?
So Carl,
I'm just
going on to
hoping we don't.
wing backs, right? So on the last show, you were saying how Sessegnon and Emerson were all 4 average. However you want to phrase it, I can't remember. So were you more pleased with Perisic and Doherty that they were starting, and also with their performances?
Yeah, I was surprised Perisic started because I thought he'd go with Sessegnon, but obviously switching it round, and I thought Perisic did okay. You know what you're going to get with Perisic. There's nothing fancy, there's nothing flash, but it's just solid. He's a great pro. He's been a great pro all his career. And he just does what he does. He can get away. But what you see with Perisic is he knows how to put a good ball in the box. When he does get that yard of freedom, he'll just delicately chip one up, and quite more often than not, it's in a dangerous area for someone to go up and challenge for it, rather than it, being overhit or not even getting past the first man. So I thought Perisic is solid. You know what we get. The first half with Doherty, I don't think you'd have noticed any difference between him and Royal being on the pitch. Given what brief we give Royal, I don't think suddenly Doherty was this transformed us in that first half. But not being funny, no one I thought had a spectacular game in the first half, did they? But the second, we were much better. He was much better in that second half. And I think, as Conte said at the end, you might be starting to see the Doherty that we saw towards the end of last season. That was a player that was coming into form, wasn't it? And finally looking like the player we thought we were getting from Wolves a couple of seasons ago. So encouraging, and Doherty does need minutes under his belt, doesn't he? That was only his second game, so we can't expect him to set the world on fire straight away. But second half was more encouraging, that's for sure.
Do you think though Doherty's performance, and I mean Perisic to a lesser extent, was benefited when we went to 3-5-2? Because I saw a lot of comments on that on Twitter. Like, do you think it made a difference with Doherty being able to attack more? Because I felt like he makes these runs. He's not like the kind of wing back that gets the ball and will drive and put a cross in like Perisic. He's more of like a player where you play the ball into him because he's made a run and then he puts the ball in.
I think we started seeing better towards the end of the second half, though, purely because, like I say, Everton were done at that point, weren't they? So at that point for Everton, it's just damage limitation. So they're sitting off, and if a team are going to sit off and allow you possession, you will look more dominant and look better because you're getting more on the ball. And obviously that extra man in midfield will allow them wing backs to push on a bit more because Basuma or Bentancur will drop in to add numbers to the defence. So I think we'll really need to see, like as Eddie said, when we come up against a team that probably going to give us a little bit more trouble, that's when we'll see how well that system is going to work.
But are you encouraged going into Wednesday or not after that?
Yeah, I think you have to be reasonably encouraged, don't you? Again, it's another win. Kane was looking back to more like the Kane of old. So, yeah, I think we've got to be encouraged. Clean sheet defensively. After the couple of mistakes in the first half, we look solid. But again, time will only tell when we come up against a decent attacking unit and we see how we cope with those and how we can cope when we've got the ball. Like I say, the way we're playing at the moment, I'd never go into any game. Like if you're a Man City fan, you go into every game knowing, I'm confident here because we play good football. We're very creative. We scare teams. With Spurs, you think we've got a great front line that when they're on fire can scare anybody and score goals against anybody. But can we create the chances for them front three? And can we hold out defensively? So you never feel 100% confident. But look, we're third. We've only lost one. We keep winning and we're not setting the world alight. So we can only improve, can't we?
But because you mentioned, I thought I'd just bring this up. Apparently we're on the same points as them now.
After today, that's right. Just goal difference, isn't it? When with Haaland's goals this year, any team's going to struggle to get above them on goal difference, aren't they?
But don't you think then that, I know we don't play the same style that City play, but don't you think the football's effective though?
Go on, Ellie.
Do you think the football's effective?
I'd like to see the stat. Right, on how many chances we've created this season compared to the other top 4 teams or top 5 teams, because I think we quite rank up quite high, I think, on created chances, because we do create more than we think, right? But it's because we haven't been putting them away as effectively as last year. If you take the Leicester game away, we haven't been as potent in front of goal. But I just feel I'd love to see the stat. Where's Jack Kanicki when you want him? You know what I mean?
We had 21 shots yesterday.
Yeah.
21 shots in total yesterday in that game. So that tells you that, you know, that's not a bad shot ratio in a game. If you're having 21 shots, you can't moan. It's just the 7 on target that causes you the problem, doesn't it? Because you'd like that to be at least 10 or 11 or 12 with that number on target. But 21 shots against a Premier League side is nothing to be sniffed at, is it, in one game?
No, very true.
Guys and girls. Don't you guys think that?
Just call me a guy.
Yeah.
I'm one of the lads.
That it's because, say, we don't have like a De Bruyne or like a chief creator. All the chances come from wide areas, like from a Doherty cross, or like a Perisic, obviously, when he plays a cross. And obviously, the odd time when Kane drops and plays like a through ball to either front 2, or like
I disagree with that.
Like that. But
I disagree with that.
Is it that people are not recognizing that we're actually creating chances because they're creating in a different way compared to like a De Bruyne to Haaland, which is pretty obvious?
I personally think we create more chances through the middle, right? Because Kane picks it up in the middle, and then he'll find the pass, right? Because he doesn't trust the wing backs to do anything good. Yeah, he doesn't. So he'll hog the ball until he sees Sonny do a run, or he'll pass to Bentancur or Højbjerg, who he knows will not lose the ball. Invariably, they will keep the ball for us, and they'll keep it rolling over. If you watch Kane very closely, he does that a lot. All right. So I just feel that I personally think we need one more creative midfielder to come in to give us something different. Because Bentancur is the nearest we've got to Dembele, who doesn't score. Because if you notice, when he gets the ball, everybody says, shoot, because they want him to score. They did that with Dembele. But he's a similar player to Dembele, not quite as good as Dembele, but he's in that ilk. And then you've got Højbjerg, who's like a workhorse.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be quiet now because I was going to say something.
But do you know what Højbjerg gives you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not beating his drum, but I've got Jack Kanicki said that he's done the most progressive passes.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Right,
yeah.
And he's done the most assists to the goals this season out of any other player in the Premiership. So that shows you that he's worth more than the label he's got as a workhorse. He is vital to our team because he progresses the ball a lot more than people think. And if he's in the top, I think he was number 1 in progressive passes. You see, so I don't know. I just think he gets a bad rap. But the main thing is that we get that creative midfielder in January, because I really do think we can push on and actually win the league if we've got that attacking midfielder who can actually score goals from that position as well. So you think if he scores 15 to 20 goals from January to May, when I think it's April, May the season ends, we can really push for that title.
I mean, I just go and bid 80 million for Maddison at Leicester. That's what I would do. But
I would do as well. I would do, because he'll give you those 15 goals.
Or create at least 15 or score 15.
He scored 10 goals already this season, I believe.
It'd be nice to have someone that could take a free kick as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we should bring Hoddle out of retirement just to take the free kicks.
We need one of them sort of NFL style, bring a player on just for free kicks, because at the moment we've got no one that can take a free kick.
What did you guys think of the free kicks? Because Kane only took... Did he take one yesterday? I don't think he took one, did he?
Son took one, and with Spurs, it's either into the wall or miles over, innit? You know where they're going.
Yeah.
I love it, because every time you get a free kick in and around the box, you get the commentator say, "Oh, this is a dangerous position," and you're like, "You clearly don't watch Spurs, mate. This is not a dangerous position."
Is that what they're saying on the telly? Like,
yeah, they always do. Every commentator, when a free kick around the edge of the box, this will be dangerous. Spurs have got a free kick in a dangerous position. And it's like the only danger is someone behind the goal not concentrating and getting a ball in their mush, or one of the blokes in the wall getting smacked in his head or stomach. But
do you remember when that keeper went? I don't remember what game I was watching, what game I saw. The keeper went and took a drink, and he came back and the opponent scored.
I think
the goalkeeper just
go and stand on his toes, sip his bottle, and just be like, "Yeah, come on," because you know it ain't getting on target. That's for sure.
Do you know what? That's where his set piece coach can earn his money. Right?
We're meant to have one.
We have one, don't we?
We are meant to have this bloke.
Yeah, we got the set piece coach. Yeah, right. So what he should do, he said, "Right, lads, you're all crap. Right, we're going to do a move that can actually get the ball in the goal."
What I love though is normally the club normally pump out these videos from training in the week, don't they? Where they're sticking every free kick.
Yeah.
I'll get out of it. Do get away.
But like, don't you think also like the corners really annoyed me yesterday because they kept playing it short. And I was like, but what is this for? Like, why?
I think they want to try and lure them out, don't they? Like, I think what they're trying to do is knock it short to Bentancur. He then knocks it to Son, who's made a run, and they're hoping the defence are coming out and Son can whip one in and cause problems. That I don't mind.
It's okay. It's a good move.
Corners is hit and miss, isn't it? Because you're not just like Sunday League pumping it into the penalty box, hoping that you find someone. You are trying to find specific areas. So you're hoping to whip one in the near post for someone to flick on. So corners, is a bit more of a lottery that might not get right. Again, if you've got a decent set piece taker though, because if you've got someone like Ward-Prowse in the side, he's putting the ball where it needs to be almost 9 out of 10 times. We unfortunately just don't have anyone who you can know consistently. This guy can put a good cross in or can take a great shot from a free kick if we need to. At least get it on target and trouble the goalkeeper. You're just sitting there thinking, well, it'll either be Kane, Son, or Dyer tries one. But let's say it's either into the wall or over.
It's just funny because some people in my stand got their phones out to take a recording of the free kick from Son, and I was sitting there like just. Why are you guys doing it? With the phone wasting the time?
I put my phone in my back pocket. I let it have a rest on the battery.
But don't you guys think though, like, as in you talk about Ward-Prowse, Carl, like someone like him, he might get gains for us, but I don't see him starting consistently because he doesn't really offer anything else but the set pieces. Really,
I think unfortunately, he's what we call a match of the day player, isn't he? Where yes, you see him because he's. I mean, we can't argue the guy as a set piece taker is probably the best set piece taker in England. So yes, if you had an NF style system where you could bring a guy on for free kicks and corners, you'd sign Ward-Prowse tomorrow because you go. He's the best in the business. Unfortunately, I don't think he'd bring anything to the side other than set pieces, and you can't play a guy just to have him around in case you get a free kick or a corner in a game. He's not dislodging Bentancur or Hoiberg out of that
he hasn't
team.
got the same skill set.
No, he wouldn't even get ahead of Basuma. So you would just be buying him and having him in the team purely for free kicks and corners, which again, you don't go buying footballers just to have them in the side for stuff like that, do you? You've got to add more to the team, and I don't think he brings anything else different than what Hoiberg or Benton.
Like something like Maddison's, like he can do those set pieces, but he can also offer us something different.
Maddison's a creative player, isn't he? He can see a through ball, he can thread a through ball, he can put in dangerous crosses on the run as such. So I mean, given his form this season, you couldn't argue for Maddison being a shout in the summer. Unfortunately, though, he just cost too much, wouldn't he? English, Leicester wouldn't want to get rid of him, so you'd be looking at sort of 80.
But he doesn't start for England, does he? Does he?
No, he doesn't start for England. No. But can I add something on?
Sure.
I just wanted to add something. If Ward-Prowse was that good, right? You know that Liverpool and Spurs pick up the best Southampton players. We do. Traditionally, we get Southampton players, so do Liverpool, right? No one's gone in for him. We haven't gone in for him. nor of Liverpool's. That tells you something, doesn't it? That he's not worth his weight in gold. You can't just rely on a player who's going to take free kicks and set pieces, because the rest of his game is not as good as what Liverpool or Spurs have got. So you're right, Carl. He's not worth buying at what did they want? 60 70 million?
They'll want to premium.
No way.
He's on a new contract, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, because nobody wanted him. Yeah. He's going to be at Southampton for the rest of his life until he can't play anymore.
His next move, I think, is somewhere like Everton, somewhere like that.
It's
considered a bigger club than Southampton, but it's not in the top elite clubs.
Yeah, they're a bigger club, but you might downgrade in terms of the style of football you're playing. Because although Southampton have had a poor start, they do sometimes play some nice football. I've watched them. There's sometimes when they do a worldie of a performance and then they'll go on a run of 4 crap ones. You know, they're that sort of team. They're that sort of team. They've got no consistency. That's why they never win anything, because they haven't got any consistency. Yeah, but I just personally believe we've got better. Yeah.
It's no point in buying him, I don't see.
No, it's not worth it.
So on Harry Kane, Carl, did you think he was better yesterday than normal this season? Because I thought a lot of people gave him man of the match, yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, like as we said after the Frankfurt game, I thought we saw signs of it in that Frankfurt game of him getting back to his best. And I think yesterday we saw again that continue. And what we're also seeing, which has been really encouraging, at the moment, he's actually looking sharp when he's running. You know, he's actually looking strong. You know, when he runs, he's back to that player that's knocking defenders off him, managing to keep hold of the ball, you know, knocking centre halves off. He's passing, starting to look like it's getting back to where it should be. He stuck the penalty away nicely. I mean, you know, there was never any doubt.
First class.
You know, you'd put your life on
First class.
for a penalty. So, I thought it was a really good performance, and one that I think shows he's getting back to his best. And like I say, he's actually looking stronger on his running, because I actually think he was starting to look a little jaded before the Frankfurt game, where he was actually looking a little tired and jaded. Whereas the last 2 games, he actually looks fresh again, and you're seeing a player that's dominating, and that's great news for us, because that's what we need him to be.
Yeah,
I mean, some of his passing yesterday was a lot better. I thought he just took more control of the game than before.
Yeah,
rather than let the game go how it was going, I felt like he took more responsibility compared to before. I felt, at least.
True.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you on Son. What did you think of Son yesterday? Before I say
Sonny, in and out of the game, he tried. Sometimes I think he's trying too hard. You know, he didn't release the ball on a couple of occasions when he could have released the ball. Kane was very frustrated. I could see it in his face, because he could have put him through, right? And the shot that he did was, he normally puts it away where he leant back. He normally puts those instinctive, those instinctive chances. He's brilliant at. He'll always either hit it top corner or really hard low into the net. So I was a bit disappointed with his performance, but for effort, I'll give him 9 out of 10. For quality, I'll give him 5 out of 10, because he should have done better. You know, with the ball.
I felt, for me, like his pressing was really good yesterday.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
It was probably the best I've seen of him pressing this season. And we were our strongest when we were pressing them. Like, I didn't like the fact we were backing off them, especially in the first half. So
I think that takes away from his game, though. I just feel that takes away from Sonny's game, because Sonny's game is based on running beyond the defenders and beating them for pace, or picking up the ball from a wide player on the edge of the box and just curling in a worldie, you know. And he's capable of dribbling through the whole of the team as well. We've seen that he's capable of that. All right. So I think when he tries to press too hard and he's putting too much effort and emphasis on that part of his play, it takes away from his other part of his game, because he's burnt himself out. You know, and I just feel that he should conserve his energy, just like Messi done. What Messi's done as he's got older, He doesn't run around like a blue ass fly. He picks and chooses when he's going to run, and he conserves his energy. Because Son, right, I know he isn't old and he's got legs, but if he did that, I think he'd be more effective and he'd score more goals because he'll be fresher for longer. Yeah.
But with Son yesterday as well, obviously he missed the header as well with that chance, I noticed.
Yes.
But
he's
also,
not a good header of the ball, is he?
I know. But like that and the other chances were his two big chances, I thought.
Yeah.
And then like I thought his dribbling was a lot better. But then
definitely.
The crossing, I think, put one good cross in the first half, from what I recall. And then apart from that, I don't think his delivery was that great. And but what is the problem of him holding onto the ball too long? What's changed a lot from last season? Because before he would just get it and just release and make a run. I just don't understand.
I just feel that probably he's playing on his mind that he hasn't scored as many goals as he usually scores. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's being a tad bit greedy, you know. Somebody needs to have a word in his ear, like maybe Højbjerg. So come on, son, get your act together, pass it to Kane when he's in a better position to you, you know. Somebody's got to have a word in his ear because obviously as a striker, you want to score as many goals as you can, But I just feel, his decision-making is not as good as last season. And they were gelling so well last season. And the season before that, they were awesome, you know. So they got to get that click back together. Yeah.
Cole, what did you think of Son yesterday?
He didn't have his best game. But then I think as well, you've got to tie into the fact that Son doesn't have his best games when you come up against teams that are just going to put the low block in and sit on the edge of their area because they don't give him what he wants, which is that space behind the back four or five to run into. And Everton weren't going to fall into that trap yesterday of pushing up high and allowing Kane to pick the ball up and ping it over the top of them for Son to get onto. And we've seen when we play teams like that, Son struggles because he's not a if you like a typical wide player that can get the ball and, you know, dribble past players and whip crosses in. His game is more reliant on that ball over the top to run onto, or as Ellie said, pick it out wide, cut inside and try and whip a shot in or a cross in. So he doesn't typically run with the ball at his feet and take players on. So when he potentially has games where he is being given it with players in front of him, he does struggle that bit because it's not one of his strengths. He did have a couple of good runs, one in the first half where he cut in between the two defenders and was unlucky where he, you know, and another day you can get a penalty for that sort of run.
Yeah.
But he found it tough yesterday. But Son has games like that, doesn't he? You know, Son have 2 or 3 games where you think, was he even playing? Didn't really notice him. But then he'll go on a purple patch. And
that's what we're praying for.
Give him the space. But he did find that yesterday.
I think the only reason that normally last season I wouldn't bring up, Son's not playing that well, because normally he would score a goal or something, and you'd be like, that's fine, he's made up for it. But
I actually think as well, he's you got to remember, I think this is the first season now, though, where there is actually pressure on him to score goals because previous seasons, although he'd been scoring goals, he was never, I don't think he ever got the credit for being this danger striker in the league. You know, he was always kind of floating under the radar, wasn't he? That people were like, he's a great player, but, you know, teams for some reason never seem to talk that much about him. Whereas winning that golden boot, that puts that added bit of pressure on you now to like, oh, right, well, you're up there with the Salahs and the Kanes and those players. So now people are expecting it. Like with Son, we're expecting Son to be one of the top goal scorers. So now there actually is that pressure on him to deliver. And I think we've just seen that, you know, he might be struggling with the weight of that expectation. But that's also, remember, we've not had a team that's playing free-flowing attacking football. So, again, we haven't been up till yesterday creating that many chances in most of the games we've played.
The argument that I keep seeing is that people say, he plays better when Sessegnon plays on the left compared to Perisic, because, you know, Perisic played yesterday.
Yeah.
Does that argument have any weight, Ellie?
No, I don't buy into that.
I don't see it.
I don't see that. I don't buy into that because, first of all, Perisic is a much better forward than going forward than Sessegnon. He can keep the ball better and he can take on a man, as we saw yesterday in the second half. He bombed down that wing and beat a couple of players. Unlucky to get it blocked on the first run he did. And the second run he did, he was just unfortunate. He just fell over at the last minute. And he still got a corner, but if he didn't fall over, then he would have got a really good cross across. But no, I don't buy into that because Perisic is class. And Sonny, he can feed off Perisic because he can play really good balls. They're accurate, right? So I don't buy into that. No, I don't agree.
Because, like, if anything, Perisic plays further wide compared to Sessegnon, who, for me, Sessegnon comes inside more. So wouldn't you think that would take up more space for Son compared to, like, Perisic being right on the touchline?
Yeah.
Sessegnon coming inside more. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, do you know what I think Son needs? I know this might be a bit controversial, but he needs a type of player like Dele Alli linking up play with him, you know, or a Luka Modric style player, somebody who's creative to give him the ball, you know, in those dangerous areas. If Kane's not doing it, another player can do it. You know, because we're spoilt for choice on the left wing because we've got Sessegnon, we've got Longley and we've got Perisic. But on the other side, it's quite weak, isn't it? So, well, weak in comparison, right? So I just feel that Sonny probably hasn't hit the ground running because of a lot of factors. And also you've got to take into account his father because his father puts a lot of pressure on him as well in terms of... He was said that he was world class, but his father said, we can't say this as a quote, but you said you have to hit world class status by being even better, you know, because you're not quite there yet, son. So I just feel he's got a lot of pressures on him, the boy, whereas before he was playing, like Carl said, without a care in the world. He went under the radar.
Yeah.
Now there's extra pressure on him to perform. And some players crumble, but I don't think Son will crumble. I think he will come good because he's already got 5 goals, remember? So that's not a bad return. It's not up to his standard, but I think now he will push on, you know, from here on in, he'll push on.
Carl, do you think he's playing too deep? As in, like, I've noticed he drops off a lot now. And before, maybe because he hasn't got as many goals and he's like trying to get the ball to score. But before he would play higher up and just wait for like a pass, for the most part.
I think it goes to maybe tie in just how the whole team's playing, isn't it? Because it's what we have with Kane, isn't it? As we say, you know, when you're being starved of the ball at certain points, you then want to go looking for it because you say, right, well, actually, I need to get the ball to try and do something. So if it's not coming to me, then I need to go to the ball. So it's natural that the best players will drop at some point because they want to see the ball. And they might think, well, by staying up here, I'm not getting it. So I need to drop. I just think with Son, like I say, we haven't been playing as well going forward as a team. That's where we're struggling. What you probably find as well, lots of teams are doubling up on him this season as well. You know, those teams will say the fullback will say to the winger, listen, when they get the ball, you drop back because I don't want to be left one-on-one with this guy in a foot race. He's going to do me. We saw it in the Arsenal game, didn't we? You know, if you watch the Arsenal documentary, when Holding gets sent off, he basically goes into the dressing room saying, that shouldn't have happened. I should never have been left one-on-one against a guy. So you probably find a lot of teams defensively, their strategy is, listen, you don't leave Son one-on-one against a fullback. You know, as the wide man, you get back and you help the fullback out and you nullify that threat from that side. Because let's be honest, most teams know that to stop Spurs, you stop Kane and Son. And then you potentially stop the 2 danger goal threats in our side. So most teams are doubling up on Kane and Son because they know these are the 2 guys we really need to worry about. They are the real danger men in this team. And if we can nullify those 2, then you'd look at the Spurs side as an opposition, wouldn't you? And say, is there anyone else in this side that frightens you other than Kane and Son? And ultimately, if we're being honest, you would look through that side. And if you haven't got Kulu or Richarlison, you probably go, no. Does Højbjerg scare teams? No, not really. Good player, but he wouldn't scare you as an attacking threat. Bentancur's not going to scare you from an attacking point of view. So most teams know defensively. Mark Kane and Son, and we see those two out of the game, we probably nullify their most dangerous threats. And that's what teams pick up on and are probably trying to do each week now. So it's harder for those two to get space and do what they need to do. And that's why I think we've seen them have a slower start to the season than they normally would. It's just about trying to find out getting Son that freedom that he wants. And now we've seen Kane's being able to, and looks like his game is there where he can find that freedom again.
Yeah.
So do you think Son might benefit from playing on the right for a bit?
No.
No.
Because I think you take away that ability to cut inside and get those shots away. I know he can shoot really well on either foot, but he is more comfortable cutting in onto his right, isn't
obviously, we have issues with Richarlison playing on the right, and because Son's being marked, people expect Son to play on the left. I'm saying if you were to switch it, even for like 30 minutes in a match, like would it make?
You should try that, shouldn't you? I mean, you most good teams would say, well, yeah, look, let's just give it a switch just to confuse the opposition slightly a little bit. But we don't do it, do we? Yeah, I think, we like to keep... And also, what you got to remember is Kane's strongest foot is his right foot. So he naturally can put passes over to that left-hand side when he gets the ball and wants to spring a pass. So you're better off having that most dangerous player there where you can say, well, if you're going to ping one right-footed, the left side of the pitch is the more dangerous side of the pitch then. So we want the most dangerous guy on that side being able to run onto those passes.
Yeah, true.
So Ellie, I know you mentioned Longley earlier, Carl, but Longley wasn't in the team yesterday and Davies came in. How do you think Davies played? Now, for the record, my dad screams at Davies whenever he plays the ball backwards, which is most of the game. Do you think Davies played well yesterday? Or would you start Longley if you had the preference?
No, all credit to the lad. He played so well. He was up Morpay's bum all the time. But he was right on him, and he kept one thing with Davies, he's a very disciplined player. That's why I think Conte likes him. Right? Longley is too, but I think Davies is more disciplined in defence, right? I know that might be controversial, but that's my own personal opinion, right? And yesterday, I feel that he really did try to impress. He was playing out of his skin. He was making runs. He was defending really well as well. Every time a player came up to him, he did really well to block him. And they double banked as well, right? So I just feel that he gets a bad rap, Davies, sometimes. He's not as bad as people paint him to be. And he'll always be a 6 or 7 out of 10, won't he? Apart from last season,
my dad actually hates Davies so much. It's so funny.
Well, I wouldn't say I love Davies, but I wouldn't give him a hard rap like your father.
Oh no, literally, when he plays Ellie, I said this to my dad in the game, and Davies gets the ball, and he passes it backwards a lot. He's like, again backwards. He's like,
I know. Do you know what? That's not his strong strength, is it? He's not really good at progressing the ball, but defensively. Yeah, I know what you mean, because Longley gives you more offensively and he can pin out a pass and it'll be accurate. That's why you play Longley in the better matches. Yeah, but in the lesser matches like Everton, give Davies a run, because last season he played out of his skin. He was a big reason why we got top 4, actually, because he did really step up, and I just feel he gets a bad rap, like a lot of the the lesser skilled players in the team, but other than that, I think he was about a 7 out of 10 yesterday, like normal. Nothing brilliant, nothing bad.
So do you, I'm on the same back camp as you, Ellie. I don't think Davies is the worst player, but I don't think he's the best either. He just does his job.
No, he just does a job, doesn't he?
He gives his all.
Yeah.
And, he does the blocks and the shots, whatever. But do you think he'll start on Wednesday? Because we're going to probably have less possession than United, especially at Old Trafford. Or do you think he'll play Longley?
I think he'll play Longley. The reason being, I think Longley's more athletic as well. And I think on Longley's side will be Fernandez, I think, because he plays on the right, doesn't he, Fernandez?
Yeah.
I think. So will he be on Longley's side? Anyway, regardless, whoever he's challenging, I think he's more athletic and his passing's a lot better. We've got to be more crisper with our passing against Man United because despite, contrary to belief, they are a good passing side, Man United. It's just that they're not been deadly in front of goal. Sometimes they've been a bit unlucky, but their midfield is no challenge to us. If you take Fernandez out, we're going to walk that midfield, especially if we play Basuma. We're going to have control of the midfield. And that's why I'm hoping that Basuma plays as well. And I just think Kane and Son are better than their two front men. Even Ronaldo, if he plays, I know he scored a hat-trick last. We've got to do some payback as well for last season, haven't we? Because we lost to them twice. We've got to have payback. So let's put it right and get the victory and play well and play to our strengths. Don't go there opening the doors for them because they can pick you off, Man United. They're very swift with their passing, so we've got to watch that, you know.
I mean, Eriksen's probably going to play, right? So
yeah.
Do you see us, especially with Højbjerg in midfield, Danish versus Danish, do you see us controlling the midfield if we played a 3?
Yeah, I still think we can control the midfield, even in Eriksen in there, because if he picks up the ball and we press him, we can put him off his game. You know, like if you've got Basuma, Højbjerg and Bentancur in there, we stand a chance. It's only if Eriksen has a worldie, which he's capable of.
Especially
but then our front three are better than their front three. So it just means that our front three have got to be on song. Like Carl said, especially if Kane and Sonny are on form, we're winning that match. And obviously the midfield battle, because I think the defences are more or less the same.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, so. With the goalkeeper as well. Their goalie, our goalie, more or less the same, aren't they? Yeah.
So, Carl, after Dyer's mistake in midweek, did you think that he was a lot better yesterday? And also, I was going to ask you on Romero. Obviously, he's come back from injury. He's had a bit of a shaky start, I think, he's come back. Do you think he was a lot better yesterday compared to before?
Yeah, I thought that the whole back three were all, apart from the couple of chances where they, Everton got free, I think most of the game they were comfortable. Again, the test comes when you play a team with better forward line and a better offensively than Everton, because they didn't again offer much outside of those two chances. But they did what they had to do. I thought Romero was really good. Again, that first half, he was quick into tackles and winning the ball. He's got a pass on him as well, Romero. He can spot a pass and play a nice direct ball into someone's feet going forward. So I thought he was good. I thought Dyer was, more comfortable. But again, you've got to look at it against what opposition you were playing against. And, when you're playing a side that don't want to come over their halfway line if they can help it, as a back line, you do have an easier day than you would expect if you play Man City. The test will come for those when they play against someone like Haaland, and how can they marshal him in a game or Liverpool. So we've got to see. But they did what they had to do. We couldn't moan yesterday about them. A couple of mix-ups here and there, but that's going to happen every week, I'm afraid, and that can even happen to the best side. So you have to accept that will happen at 90 minutes at this sort of level. But I thought they did well enough. Romero's performance, I think, gives you a lot more confidence that he might be coming back to the player at the end of last season, because he had been a little bit shaky before there, and a couple of goals were down to him, not doing what he should have done. So that was more encouraging, seeing the way that he was playing. And again, like as Eddie said earlier, someone like Davies, Conte loves Davies because he's just no nonsense. Does what he's asked to do, no frills. He'll clear it if he needs to clear it. He'll keep the ball safely moving. He won't take too many risks. And I think Conte loves him for that. We probably still need to get another commanding centre half. I'd feel a lot more confident if you had Dyer, Romero, and another strong centre half there alongside them. But that won't be probably till the summer that happens. So we just got to get through now with Langley and Davies in the side.
But like with Romero, Ellie, like yesterday he bombs forward a lot. We've got United on Wednesday. Do you think he'll be instructed just to sit? Because I don't think it's a good idea if he just bombs forward and leaves all that space when you've got players like Rashford or whatever with that pace.
Yeah, I think he'll. It all depends how the game goes, right? If we go 1-0 up, and then we quickly go 2-0 up, I think he will release Romero into those dangerous positions.
United or something.
I think we've got a good chance of battering them. Just put it that way. As long as we're on song, as long as we're on song, because I've seen Man United, they've got frailties in their team, but I think depending on how the game is going, I think that's going to release Romero to have a free rein and go forward. If we get a 1 or 2-0 up, I think he will, but I think he'll stay disciplined if it stays 0-0. Because we won't want to lose the match, and he's our best defender, right? So if he comes storming out and we're left with a big gap, that Ronaldo can exploit that, because however old he is, he's got a very clever footballing brain, and he'll pick up on those pockets of space that are left behind if Romero charges forward. And who's going to be there? Probably Emerson, right? I think
Emerson's
suspended, isn't he?
I think
that'll be his third game. Yes, I think you'll see Doherty again.
I think it'll be Doherty, sorry. So either way, I don't trust Doherty against Ronaldo, because Ronaldo's got all the tricks in the book and he'll pin a pass or he'll just beat him easily. Even though he's older, I reckon he's got even more pace than Doherty, and he can get past him. So we've got to be careful. And then you've got Jadon Sancho, I believe. I think he'll be playing. Yeah, he's very nippy and he's clever. He's another one who's got speed. So they've got quite a fast forward line. So we've got to be careful what we do. I don't know. I think Conte's quite a pragmatic manager, isn't he, in his style of football? So I don't think he's going to... For the first 20 minutes, if it's 0-0, right, I think he's going to stay put, Romero. But if we score 1 or 2 goals, I think then you'll see him go out, because if we get that third goal, we've probably sealed it, haven't we?
So Ellie, are you expecting us to go on Wednesday and just thrash United?
Yeah, because when we beat them 6-1, we had the worst team then. We've got a more solid midfield. I just hope he plays Basuma. That's all, because I'm scared of Sancho. And I'm scared of Ronaldo. They're the only 2 players I can put my finger on and say they frighten me.
But do you expect Ronaldo to play? Because he doesn't really play under Ten Hag.
He might play him in this one, because he saw that he scored 4 goals against us last season. He might say, go on, Ronaldo. Fill your boots,
But like, if he doesn't play a 3-5-2, do you think he's going to play Lucas on the right? What other options does he have, really?
I don't think he'll play Lucas.
I don't think I think he's forced into the 3-5-2 this week.
Yeah.
Because Lucas is only coming back to fitness. Yeah. So I don't think you throw him in.
No.
I think he kind of gets forced into the 3-5-2 in this game. And Conte's sole mission will just be make sure whatever happens, we don't lose.
That's right. Don't lose the game.
Yeah, come away with a point. If you come away from all those away games against that top 6 or 7, you take a point against all of them away from home and win your home games against them. So Conte's sole message will just be, we don't lose this game.
Under any circumstances.
If it's a boring 0-0, he'll take a boring 0-0. Yes, if we have, Kane and Son can cause that United defence some problems, but we also know if we switch off, they could probably cause us some problems. But I just think Conte goes there saying, I don't want to lose this game. And we need to make sure we don't. This is one of them games, as I've said to you before the show. These are those sort of statement games where you show where you've progressed as a team, and you sit there and say, listen, last year we came here, we should have beaten this team, but we did what Spurs do and we lost 3-2 in a game we should have won. So I want to make sure that show the world, listen, we're a better side now, we're tougher. And if it's boring and it's 0-0, I don't care, because we'll have come away with something from what is traditionally a difficult place to go.
Yeah.
So, Carl, I take it you're not expecting us to go there and win 3 or 4-0?
No, I'm not expecting us to go there and try and open the floodgates against them. We could, you could have one of them games where it happens. You could have one of them games where Kane and Son are on fire, like that 6-1. But I don't think Conte goes there with that mindset. I think Conte goes there with that mindset, which is, I just don't want to lose. I take 0-0 right now and we walk away from Old Trafford 0-0, a point in the bag. Again, we won't have lost, potentially won't have conceded a goal, and we move on. That's how Conte would look at it. But we definitely could go there and beat them. But at the same time, it's one of those games, if we don't show up, we could come away again having lost, and people again questioning, well, has this side actually really come on? Are they a team that can really, are they where they need to be under this manager? So I think it's more important just to make sure we don't lose this game week.
Very true. Very
On
true.
evidence of that, then, do you expect him to change the fullback or the fullback again, or not?
No, I think he sticks. I think he sticks to that side that. Well, when I say sticks to the side that ended the game, but it will be the 3-5-2. But I think he'll play Davies, because I think he just likes Davies. No nonsense, no frills, just get in the way. And then Basuma will come into that midfield three, and that'll be it. I think he keeps Perisic, because I think he keeps Perisic for his big game experience,
mentality.
In all fairness, Sessegnon has played a lot of those big games away from home, hasn't he? United, he's played in those games, Liverpool away from home, and done a reasonable job. So that might be the only one that could change, Sessegnon for Perisic. He might feel that's the change he wants to make. But I think you'll see Doherty, you'll see Romero, Davies and Dyer, and then possibly either Sessegnon or Perisic. But then Basuma will be the only change. I don't think he puts Lucas Moura into that game.
A right wing back, no chance.
No chance. No, it's too weak.
But also, you got to take into consideration, we've got Newcastle again on the Sunday. It's got moved. On the Saturday, got moved to the Sunday.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you see him possibly tweaking some things, because we've got that game as well straight after? I
don't think so. Every game is big, isn't it? Every game's a massive game. I mean, when you look at Newcastle's form as well, that's not going to be an easy game
after that as well.
So
it's just
unfortunately, with the World Cup, you've got these games coming thick and fast until the World Cup starts, haven't we, to get through them? So you just have to go with what you've got, and Conte's stubborn. He doesn't change too much.
Do you think he's just doing it game by game, in the sense that, some managers, they have like a plan already, what players they're going to play in each game, so they're kept fresh for the following, say, in 2 games time, for example. Like, obviously Pochettino used to change the fullbacks, remember?
Yeah.
On a regular basis.
We don't have that luxury, do we?
I know.
We haven't got like one of those Man City benches where you've got 150 mils worth of talent sitting on the bench. We can't bring in a Mahrez, those sort of players. So all your key players are getting run into the ground and are playing week in, week out in the big game. If we had a Carabao Cup fixture, then you would see mass changes, I think. Then you'd see Jed Spence play, because he would then want to give players a rest. But while you've got Premier League and Champions League games, he's starting all those key players, and they're just going to have to get through.
Okay, so I'll just touch on one more thing before I go to your score predictions. So what do you guys think of this Joe Lewis set is being taken over?
I know, it's all over Twitter, everywhere.
So do you think, like, we're going to get a change now or not?
Well, Alistair Gold just commented. I just saw it flash on top of my screen. Yeah, he was making sense of it, right? But he's basically selling the club, isn't he? He's basically selling his shares, really, because in Company's House he's done a cessation or something like that.
But is someone else from ENIC buying the shares, or is it someone else from outside?
Timing with Google coming in for the naming rights, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say, because Google coming for naming rights.
Maybe Mr. Bozo buys the whole club.
Yeah, Bozo's Tottenham.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's exciting though. What's happening now? Because obviously, Joe Lewis, he's got to 84, 85 years old now, and he's got a daughter that can even take over if she wants. But I just feel that he's probably thought, right, I don't even have much like confrontation with the club anyway. You know, I don't really pay attention to what's happening. I might as well just cash in now. Google have made a play for the club. All right, the naming rights, but they'll probably go for the club as well. I would imagine that they'd want to buy the whole caboodle.
Because I haven't really commented on my channel at all. I was meant to do a video on it a couple of times, but I just didn't have the energy for it because now
they're rich enough.
It's negotiations, right? So, and we also link with Uber Eats, which I actually would have liked because I use Uber Eats all the time.
Yeah.
Uber Eats Stadium. If Spurs fans get a discount, I'll be down for that one. But
yeah, true.
but like, so then just obviously. Is ENIC leaving now or not? Like, this one I don't understand because
I must admit I was doing a puzzle before this, so I've missed on this like breaking news of what's actually fully.
It's going nuts.
Yeah. So I'll get your score predictions. So Carl, I assume you're going to predict us to win 5-0 or something, but what do you think is going to happen?
No, I haven't had my daily dose of drugs yet, so I won't do 5-0. You know. No, I listen. I think it'll be tight. I think we're going there not to lose and not to do anything stupid. So a 0-0 wouldn't surprise me. But then I also think it's a game we could nick, say 1-0 or 2-1. I could, I feel confident we can go there and win. I just want to make sure we just come away minimum a draw. I don't actually care if the performance is brilliant. I just want to see us get a point and get away from one of those big stadiums where we can actually say, listen, we can come here and we won't crumble like we always do. We'll come and put a performance in and we'll get a point. Like the Chelsea game, that wasn't pretty. We probably should have lost, but you come away with a point, and that's what you can hope for against those bigger sides, I think.
So do you think it'll be like 2-2, 0-0? Do you think it'll be something like that? Or
I could see us either nicking it 1-0 or 2-1.
Yeah.
So you think we're going to win? That's what I'm saying.
I'm reasonably confident we can go there and win. Listen, United are not a great side. This is not the United under Fergie where you'd already lost before the game had even started. You just used to go there and say, listen, let's just come away making sure it ain't 6 or 7 and we move on to next week. This is a ground now you can go to and feel confident you can get a result. To say we're not going to spank them 5-0 or anything. They're not that, they're not that big a mugs, but we definitely can go there and win, but it will be tight. It's not going to be, it's not going to be free flowing and open football. So you're either nicking a 1-0 or a scrappy 2-1.
See, I think my prediction is 2-2, but Ellie, because you're the most positive person, or the most optimistic person, what do you think the score's going to be on Wednesday?
I think it's going to be 3-2 to Spurs.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we've got 3 goals in us, right? And because we've been averaging about 3 goals a game, I think, roughly. I think we've got 3 goals in us, and their defence is not that good. I'm just hoping Maguire plays because he's worth 2 of those 3 goals. and Luke Shaw hasn't been too clever this season either. I think we can nick it 3-2. Either that or what Carl said, 1-0 or 2-1. I think we will get by one goal, but be it 3-2, 2-1 or 1-0. But I'm going 3-2 because I think United Spurs is always quite an entertaining. Well, it's a very entertaining game. You never get really a boring game between Spurs and Man United. I've never seen a boring game. Even last season at White Hart Lane, it was probably even peg until they got their 3 goals and they beat us 3-0. But they weren't much better than us.
And then we got
In fact, I think we were slightly better than them at White Hart Lane. But the second game, we should have won that.
Yeah,
we should have won. We should have beat them. Yeah, we had the game at our grasp, but we let it go away, and then Ronaldo just done his business and killed us off, didn't he? So, yeah, I think we can turn the tide this time. Instead of 3-2 to them, 3-2 to us. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Son, Kane scoring.
I think Son and Kane and Højbjerg again. Because I'm gonna be holding that lucky thing and kissing it.
To be fair to Ellie, though, as in, I think our last win there was 3-2. I might be wrong. Was it 2-1 under Sherwood?
We beat them 6-1. Before that, we beat
3-1.
I know when Lucas Moura scored, we beat them 3-2, didn't we?
3-2 or 3?
Was it 3-2 or?
Yeah, 3-0 at the start of the season. Lucas Moura scored 2, didn't he?
Kane that's it. That's it. We beat them 3-0, and then I think we beat them one other time when Bell scored. We beat them 3-2. That was a 3-2. That was a 3-2. And Dempsey scored, didn't he? That game.
Yeah. That was the first time we won in like ages.
That was when Bell rinsed Ferdinand.
Because
Vertonghen scored the first.
Vertonghen scored the first one with a deflection. I remember that. Hey!
He's coming in to take over when you guys go. So. I know Ellie and Carl, we have to go now. I think I kept you for 3 minutes.
I have to go.
So enjoy your Nando's or whatever you're going.
Nice one. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Cheers. Great show. Great show. Okay. Thanks, Carl. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. You sit on.
Hold on. I can't go. That's better.
Hey, you're right,
how are you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah.
On from one, on to the next. Look at this. Look at this. You're getting people on and off now. This show is taking off. How you doing?
Segment into another person now. So, how you been, Josh? Anyways,
I'm doing really well. I'm very, very positive about how things look, despite the fact that I still, as you know, I'm not the biggest optimist.
Yeah,
I would call myself a Tottenham realist. But again, 3-5-2.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry to do this, but to Matt Doherty.
Yes.
Incredible. Yes. You know, right, people, I don't know who's watching this, but anyone watching this will may not know that me and Haz have regular disagreements on WhatsApp about the right wing back.
Yes.
Essentially, look, both of us know Emerson Royale is terrible. I think we can both very clearly establish.
I mean, no one saw that halftime group chat, did they? So
no. I mean, we both know that. We both agree on that. I have accused you of having an agenda against Emerson because when Emerson has a good game, you still slate him. I think a lot of Tottenham fans do. However, fair play, Matt Doherty. He's got this weird moustache goatee thing going on, and he's playing really well. He's playing really, really well. Still, is he of the level that we want? Probably not. But is he going to do? And does he deserve to start? Absolutely. You know, he's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The other one that deserves an even bigger round of applause is Højbjerg. The sort of the Tottenham, some of the Tottenham weirdos that seem to have this weird.
I don't get it.
The weird love affair for Bentancur, and yet happy to slate Højbjerg at every opportunity. Højbjerg was the better player yesterday. Højbjerg for the last couple of games has been the better player. He's been standout. Bentancur and him, bellissimo, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I mean, what is incredible is both of them have a hell of an engine. Bentancur in particular, what an engine. But the 3-5-2 lets Højbjerg go forward more, which is exactly what he does for Denmark, and it worked. I thought was absolutely immense yesterday.
For his best game of the season, I thought.
hands down. He was superb. I mean, some of his take-ons, some of his little flicks. There were times where it was like actually watching prime Dele Alli with some of the sort of scoops and sort of flicks that he was doing. Got into the right area, thought quickly to win that penalty. Pickford, you could see in his face he made a big mistake there. But again, it wasn't convincing. It really wasn't convincing. We could have been 2-0 down at half-time. Why will this team not start quickly in games?
I was going to ask you the same question. I don't understand it. It's like they're half asleep. And don't you feel like sometimes we need to concede a goal to wake up? I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. For some reason, second half, we go up the gears. It's really bizarre, and we need to get out of that rut of doing that, because Liverpool were superb today to beat City. They're coming up. United is midweek.
Yeah.
That's not going to be easy.
No.
If Tottenham get 3 points at Old Trafford, massive. But again, now we're facing a point of which it's almost as significant as that Chelsea game, second game of the season, because now we're looking at this game and we're thinking this is the real test of the level that we're at now. Not because United is particularly good, but more because these are the games you have to show guile, you have to perform, you have to get the result. We went to Arsenal and we collapsed. We cannot collapse at Old Trafford. 3 points has to be a must. And then that keeps us fighting, keeps us going, keeps us in the mix. Because I know this sounds a bit weird. I don't think Spurs have any chance of winning a league this year. But we have to be in the title chase until the last game of the season, because I think that that's the only way in which you get top 4 this season.
As a consequence of...
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the team that finishes third, fourth will only do so by being right on the tails of the teams in second and first right till the end of the season. I have a feeling that I think this game showed that although City score goals for fun, they're still vulnerable. Could have lost at Villa as well. They're still not great defensively.
What did you think of the game? I watched the whole game.
City didn't play bad at all. They had a pretty good game, but... Liverpool outdid them tactically. They did. And they had one chance and, one big chance.
Took it, yeah.
Which is what you've got to do. Your keeper's got to be on fire. Your defenders have to be on fire. And they were. The midfield has to be sharp. Stop the channels, block the channels, stop the movements. Make it hard for them to play. And they did. So Arsenal's the team I'm worried about this year, not City.
I know they've been playing so well.
As much as I'm worried about City, I am worried about City. I'm worried about Haaland. I'm not worried about City. Arsenal, 9 wins in 10. That's crazy.
It's mad.
That's crazy. They got lucky again today, Arsenal.
I didn't watch it, so...
Well, it wasn't the stream, but I saw highlights and they were very, very lucky. But they keep getting results. They keep winning.
I think the difference with me, Arsenal this season to last season, I'm going to be on record saying this, is that they bought players that fit their system, number one. Number two, their team chemistry and team spirit is so much better than last season from what I saw. And you got players like Xhaka.
Better than ours.
Yeah, and Xhaka has had some crazy redemption story. And now he actually looks like a decent player. And it's like...
but again, I think it's because he's been allowed to go forward. He's been given a different role.
Partey, yeah.
And Partey's doing the defensive work. They've got a creator in Odegaard. They've got a real creator.
You've got Smith Rowe as well. They've
got... And Martinelli is just... And Saka.
He's insane.
Both Martinelli and Saka are brilliant players. Absolutely phenomenal. But what I would say is, back to Spurs, I suppose, is... Yes, it's scary that we're not at our best, but I've got a horrible feeling that, what happens if Spurs get to their best the game before the World Cup?
Oh God!
Gets you've got to hit that momentum now. Yes, we're getting results. Yes, we should be happy about that. but the level of performance has to go up. It's got to go up. It's not good enough. We were outplayed for large parts of that game, and yes, there's going to be games where you're not the best team. You're going to be second best for spells in games. It's the Premier League, of course, but we cannot continue like this. We cannot. I'm sorry, Spurs fans. We get the happy clappers. Oh yeah, I don't care as long as we're winning. You can watch the game with a cigar in my mouth. All of this nonsense. I'm sorry, it's not been good enough. We really are, what we can be really pleased with is that this team finds a way regardless. But what about the games where we don't find a way, like Arsenal?
Got United next as well, so it's not like we can start slow.
That's why I say it's a
we can't start slow against United.
It is a really big test. By the way, Anthony, what a player.
I know, yeah.
Kulusevski.
Do you think he'll be back?
Nah, he's not going to play, is he? He'll be in the squad maybe, but he's not going to start. And I wouldn't want to play a 3-4-3 there. I think 3-5-2 is the way to go. Richarlison's definitely out.
He was crying when he came off, I saw.
Yeah. No, I mean...
What did you think of Son yesterday?
Do you know what? I thought that was one of Son's best games in terms of what he was doing when he didn't have the ball.
Yeah, I thought so.
He was really dragging players. He was making really clever movements. He was making some of the runs he made were brilliant. And the other thing is, the Højbjerg goal.
Yeah.
Did you watch Son's movement? If Højbjerg played Son in, Son would have scored as well. So
yeah, I know. Yeah,
Son made some incredible movement there. I don't think he had a bad game, but
it was all right. I think for me, like it wasn't his best. But this season, I don't know what
we expect Son to score every single game, don't we?
That's not every game.
No, on, we do. We don't lie. We all do. Son is one of those players that is so effing good that every time he plays, you expect the guy to score, or you expect him to get an assist. That's the level of this guy. Same with Harry Kane. You expect him to score. You expect him to get an assist or something every game, one or the other. Kane, by the way, how many games in a row is it that he scored? Is it 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think so. 7, I think now.
In all competitions. Yeah, I mean, brilliant. I know it won't be in all competitions because he didn't score at Frankfurt. But, I mean, that's phenomenal as well.
After his penalty miss in midweek, were you worried when he went up to take it or not?
No chance.
No, I thought he was going to score regardless. So
look, Kane's had one penalty saved this season by Dean Henderson.
He skied one.
Then against Frankfurt, you can tell what he was trying to do. He was trying to go for the top corner and he fluffed it. Such is the nature of the guy is normally so accurate at hitting that top corner when he wants to hit the top corner. The guy has missed 2 penalties this season, sure. But how many penalties has he missed in those previous seasons? The only one I can remember him missing was against Denmark and he followed the tap in. And then Southampton, he slipped because the pitch, like the ball bobbled up when he hit it. And then Shamrock Rovers when he was like...
Oh, yeah.
He was like a baby.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
Yeah, so... Look, the guy is a machine from the penalty spot. No, he's not Ivan Toney. He's not a freak like that from the penalty spot. I mean, that's the only player that's a better penalty taker than Harry Kane.
I don't know. I think Kane's the best in the league, I think, for me.
Ivan Toney's better. I mean, the guy is
better. All right. Okay.
Really, because the guy has not missed a spot kick in the Premier League.
Is that ever?
I feel like I want to find out, but I don't. I feel like he's not. I feel like in the last 5 years or whatever it is of his career, he's not missed a single one. He does this weird no-look shit where he doesn't look. All he does is he doesn't even look at the ball. He looks dead straight. He doesn't look at the corner.
But he still puts it.
Move, and wherever they go, he puts it. And if the keeper doesn't move, he hits it hard enough that the keeper can't save it anyway. That was him explaining it to the team on Sky Sports for the Friday Night Football. But Harry Kane, you don't think he's going to miss, surely?
No, it's just because obviously,
if he's missing back-to-back penalties, then you're like, okay.
So, what did you think of the free kicks? Because Son eventually got a chance to take one, and he hit the wall. So I was like, Are we going to find someone to take free kicks?
Look, Kane should not be on free kicks.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. But we are bloody stupid if we think it's easy to score a free kick or to take a free kick. It's not easy, especially when you're taking it close to the edge of the box and it's hard to whip it up and down. And they've got a wide wall and they've got someone lying behind it, so you can't go low. You know, do you know who I think our best free kick taker is?
Perisic? That's my guess. But Dyer?
Eric Dyer.
Yeah.
He's got the Portuguese side foot top spin technique. And look, when Eric Dyer takes a free kick for us, when has he actually taken one that you thought that was terrible?
Never really.
Even the one he took against Frankfurt only just went over the bar. You know, I mean, it's weird because we expect, you know, not everyone is James Maddison, who, by the way,
we need to sign him in January.
For sure. You know that I was skeptical about it, but I think, do you know what? I do think he would complement the team quite well. My opinion's changed in watching him this season because he's really, I mean, he's made the rest of the Leicester team look rubbish, hasn't he?
I think he's got 10 goals. Someone told me this season. Is that true?
I mean, he's been there. How many has Jamie Vardy got this season? Not many, if any.
No.
So you know, I think that Maddison is a really interesting one. But Newcastle will be in for him in January, no doubt. What I'm seeing, which is really, really interesting, is that Tottenham are apparently keen on Leonardo Bonucci.
Really? Where do you see that? Is it Italian sources or something? Or
so I've seen it reported in Italian media, and the Express have reported it as well.
I'd love someone like him at the back for us personally, because we need an experienced player in the back three.
He's not going to be there for long, but an Italian defender, 30.
Yeah, he can't say no. Yeah.
So you don't start playing until you're 40 in Italy. So I mean, that would be the Thiago Silva side, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Bonucci.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
yeah,
find someone like that. I don't care. I'd take him all day long. I take him with one leg.
He's a name I've mentioned before because obviously Chiellini's
come for him in the summer.
Like Chiellini's like off the table really because I think he went somewhere else.
LAFC.
Yeah, and obviously we didn't go for De Vrij, so Bonucci was someone I thought of before as well.
No, I think it's a no-brainer. Even if it's for a short term,
like a year or two or something.
Yeah, even so. Do you know what though?
Did you see this news about leave without Joe Lewis?
What?
Apparently he's sending... I'd have to read it to you. Hold on. Where is it? I saw it on Twitter a minute ago. Where is it? Let me see. I'm surprised you haven't seen this. Here we go.
About selling shares in the club.
Yeah. Cessation of Joseph Charles Lewis as a person with significant control on the 5th of October. Notification of Brian Antoine Glinton as person with significant control on the 5th of October. I don't know who Glinton is, but anyways.
Let's have a look. I've said for a long time now, I know that when Joe Lewis eventually decides he wants to sell the club, we'll be sold off to Americans.
Do you think there's anything in this Google stuff as well, in terms of like Google buying us or something?
No. There'll be a consortium, won't there? It will be an NFL owner. It will be, we'll have a Todd Bowley type. It will be, I believe that there was some interest from Jeff Murad. Look, okay, so Glinton is from Miami.
Is he? Oh, right. I didn't know this. Does he own another club or anything?
He's the legal advisor to the Tavistock Group, founded by Lewis, which owns Enix.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's just, he's just basically put someone else's
in charge.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just changed the name on the sheet, basically. But I can guarantee you we will be taken over by a very, very rich owner.
What do you think of the Google sponsorship?
Yeah, so it's not done yet, is it? It's close.
No. 25 million a year, I read, I think.
Yeah, we're talking huge money. I mean, I don't know the exact money. I've just heard that it's, it will be the biggest by some way. But what I would say is it's a good move for the club. The only thing, I worry about the risk of an
NFL owner.
NFL franchise. I worry about that because, you don't want a situation where the club loses its heart, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it all goes, really. I mean, for now, I just want to see the club invest. I want to see the club, kick on,
Fingers crossed.
Well, I mean, this is it.
Because from what I've heard, even if we sell, Levy wants to stay on as chairman. That's what I keep hearing whenever we get linked to like a
it won't happen. Honestly, it won't happen. I guarantee we will get taken over by a consortium of Americans, and it'll go from there.
But would it be better than Enix, I guess? It depends on if they want to invest, I guess.
Well, this is it. So, who knows at this point? I was looking up some of the richest NFL owners.
All right, okay. They're trying to find us an owner.
Well, no, they're all really old, except for the one that's worth it for me. Is the owner of Fulham.
Is he American?
Well, he's Pakistani American, and it's Shahid Khan.
Oh, right, him.
And Shahid Khan's son is Tony Khan, who is only 40. He's done. He's got an involvement in football as well as in soccer. He's involved with Fulham, Jacksonville Jaguars, and AEW wrestling. Now, given the opportunity to sell Fulham and take over Spurs, they've got the money to do it. Jacksonville Jaguars, who always come to London, there's your London franchise. AEW.
Did you hear what Bowley said about Chelsea? He wanted to change the name of Chelsea, didn't he? To like the London Cowboys or something stupid like that. What was it? Did you not hear about this?
Yeah, I did, but I can't remember the name of it.
Isn't there like a danger that the English clubs are going to turn out like this if we get all
because Shahid Khan has already owned Fulham and he's not changed anything.
Not yet.
The only actually weird thing that they did was the Michael Jackson statue.
They have a Michael Jackson statue.
Have you not heard about this?
No. Where is it? Is it outside the Fulham Stadium or something?
Yeah, so they had a Michael Jackson statue. Oh no, they removed the Michael Jackson statue.
All right. What?
Yeah, sorry, no, that wasn't Shahid Khan. That was Mohammed Al Fayed that put Michael Jackson there, and Khan removed it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, no, Khan's great. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars, AEW, Fulham, his portfolio is great. You've got wrestling pay-per-views that can be done there.
Oh, wow, that'd be cool.
English fans wrestling.
Yeah.
I think they signed up like Chris Jericho and CM Punk.
Are we talking WWE?
No. People that were in WWE that left to join them. And then, yeah, I think that makes sense. Shahid Khan makes sense. Plus, Tony Khan is the one that's going to take all of his stuff on, and he's 40 years old. So there's something that's a bit longer term there. But, you know, who knows at this point, you know? Tottenham's not going to get sold anytime soon, are they?
I don't think so. No. I think this is just a passing of responsibility.
I think that Levy wants to be part of a deal to get an NFL franchise there and then sell, because that makes him the most money.
Because I still think Levy wants to be part of whoever takes over, because that was the issue when like someone like Abramovich tried to buy the club, or there was other buyers, I remember. And I kept reading that Levy wants to stay on as a chairman, and that's like, for me, Levy's more of a problem than ENIC.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because he just wants control. Well, yeah, that's kind of obvious.
No, actually, do you know what? I disagree. I think he's not more of a problem than ENIC, because ENIC goes through Levy. So, you know, it's a difficult one because we don't actually know what Lewis actually does, if anything.
I know he goes to like one game a year or something like that, 2 games a year.
Yeah, because he's only allowed in the UK for a certain amount of days.
Really? Is that? Oh, yeah, because he
lives on a yacht in the Bahamas.
So yeah, he literally lives on a yacht, doesn't he? Yeah.
So it's one of those that. Sorry, I had to clear my throat.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, essentially, I don't know. I think that it's the Conte situation I'm more worried about. So the club wants to offer him a deal. They want to offer him investment. They want him to sign on. We have to basically offer him not necessarily huge wages, but huge money to invest in playing staff. I feel like we'd have to be pulling out Lautaro Martinez or some madness like that to keep him. Do you know what I mean? So, but here and now, I mean, it's the best start to a season, however many years, nearly 60 years.
Do you think his new deal hinges on January transfer window?
No, I think he needs to be given the assurances before the January transfer window, because Tottenham want to wrap this up before the World Cup. Because there's a genuine worry that Conte goes during that period.
During the World Cup?
I think. Because that's when all the conversations are going to be had. That's when Tottenham are going to need to, you know, Levy's going to need to sit down with Paratici and Conte, and they're going to be watching all these players at the World Cup, identifying the ones that they want. Because there's going to be standouts. There's going to be, you know, players that I'm looking forward to watching at the World Cup are your Hincapis. Leverkusen.
We were linked with him, I think.
Pardon?
Yeah. We were linked with him, I think.
Yeah. Someone like that. I'd be interested to watch some of the players for Senegal. Players like Sarr. Is Sarr going to get games? Is he going to perform? You know, but there's always standouts. There's always players you don't expect to perform that perform. So I think Spurs are going to want to take someone in red-hot form from the World Cup. But that's why this is going to be a crazy transfer window, January. Because remember, when the World Cup happens, James Rodriguez got that huge move.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Got that huge move from the World Cup. And normally it's in the summer transfer window, so it makes sense. But now, teams are going to want to snap players up rapid whilst they're in good good form. I think this is going to break every record ever spent in a January window.
It will. Also because the teams are going to come back with injuries as well. So you're going to have to replace players maybe.
Yeah, players that were in form may not be in form anymore. Players that, weren't in form may be in form.
It's going to be a mess. I think it's going to be an absolute mess.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that Spurs need to act, and especially on the Bosman. The players that haven't signed a new deal that could be available on a free. So I'm just going to get up some of the players that will have their contracts expire. So Milan Skriniar.
Oh yeah, well, we live with him every window. Yep.
Messi, Tielemans, Jorginho, Kante, Zaha, Lemar, Guy. Well, Guy has just signed a new deal. They need to update that. Asensio, Firmino is yet to sign a new deal. Evan and Dicker at Frankfurt, who I thought was quite good. Karim Benzema, Luke Shaw, Lima, Ilkay Gundogan, Trossard, Depay. Yeah, some big players in there. Keita.
Trossard's a good shout, I think, for us.
I don't think we need him. He's a good player, but I don't think he's in a position we need.
I mean, we were linked with Kante already, I think.
Kante, I would take all day long. I think someone like Evan and Dicker on a free would be great. Yeah. Thomas Lemar would
Lionel
be
Messi.
Brilliant. I mean, he's going back to Barca, so that's almost nearly done. And obviously Skriniar, but I think he's going to go to PSG, isn't he?
He tried to go there before, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that are Toni Kroos, Stefan De Vrij, Ronaldo, Muriel.
Muriel's still injury prone, I think.
Rafael Guerrero, the left wing back. He'd be great from Dortmund.
There's options there, but wouldn't that be in the view of the summer?
Would you take Rafael Guerrero?
Yeah. You know how I'm not a massive Sessegnon fan, so.
No, I mean, the options are crazy. The options are crazy. Spurs are going to need to get on this because what's going to happen is the second that, the World Cup happens, a player like Maddison, if he goes to the World Cup and does well.
Oh, God, he's going to cost like 100 million.
Yeah, he'll go from 50 mil to 120 mil within seconds. So
he'll score like the winner and that's it. There goes his price. But will he go to the World Cup? I don't think he'll go to the World Cup.
I think he will.
You think Southgate will finally pick him?
I think he'll go over Conor Gallagher.
So looking, because you've got to go soon, I think. Looking to the game on Wednesday, what's your score prediction?
You know me by now.
0-0.
Away win. Okay. I think we're gonna have a big one. I think we're gonna click into gear on Wednesday. I really, really hope. I'm crossing everything right now. I'm literally crossing my legs, my toes, and my fingers.
2-1, 3-2, something like that.
I don't know. I think we're going to pull off a really big result. I'm not convinced by United. They had a poor result against Newcastle. They really weren't good against Ammonia Nicosia. I know the keeper had a great game, but
I would have liked Ammonia to win that game, but
that would have been amazing. That keeper, sign him up, man.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought it was really funny. So Nigerian fans were saying, "Who the hell is this goalkeeper? Who the hell is he? This is not the same goalkeeper that cost us the spot in the World Cup because he had a clanger that stopped Nigeria."
Oh, right.
But look, it's a tough place to go, and Ronaldo single-handedly beat us last year. Anthony's a great player. Yeah, I think away win though. I think we'll click into gear. What the score will be, I have no idea. No idea. What about you?
I'm predicting a draw. I think it'll be 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go through that again. But look, I'd take a draw over a defeat, that's for sure. Yeah. Anyone would.
We can't lose. We just can't lose on Wednesday.
No, it's must win, actually. I think it's must win. I would much rather lose that game really going for trying to win that game than set up to not lose and get a draw.
Fair enough.
But you know what? 3-5-2. Why not? Why not?
I think Basuma deserves a start after that.
It's a good time to play United, you know. They're really not that great. They haven't
lost. Clicked under Ten Hag.
No, not at all. But they've not lost in a while. It's just what's dangerous about this game is either one of these teams could click into gear. They turned up and beat Arsenal.
I remember, yeah. So, and Spurs United always has a lot of goals. It's never like a 0-0.
It's never a dull game, is it?
Yeah.
Never a dull game. It for me, you know, 3-0 up at half time, lose 5-3 at the Lane.
Oh no.
There was that game where
went 2-0 up, do you remember? And we lost 5-2.
Yeah, there was that game. Yeah, there was the game that we had Nani handballed it.
Oh yeah, yes. Scored. Yeah.
What the hell was going on there? There was the game that we scored a goal that wasn't given. Was it? Who was it? Was it Mido?
Roy Carroll. No, Pedro Mendes is a long shot.
Pedro
remember?
Mendes, yeah.
And Roy Carroll
was in goal.
That was on Prem Plus. I remember that game so vividly.
It's never a dull game, is it, at Old Trafford? I think we can get a result.
No, I think we can beat them. It's just I'm quite reserved because I thought the same when we went to Chelsea.
We've got an all right record at Old Trafford recently. We considering how we used to do against them, our record's not bad there. So, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you got to go now? Sorry. Or is it...
Yeah. No, I need to go.
Okay. So, just close off. Come on, you Spurs.
Up Spurs.